We're just waiting on one more person. We're going to get started. As you're aware, there was a shooting yesterday around 1:45 p.m. I believe, 34th and Spalding. And I spoke with Ms. Wallace this morning, and she was just letting me know what her son meant to her, and how this wasn't a gang-related shooting. It wasn't something that was ongoing. There wasn't any type of feud. Her son was just gunned down, standing in the yard minding his own business. In fact, he was waiting for a ride. I believe she was on her way to pick him up, and this young man lost his life. And there's a lot of frustration because, for one, the house that she lives in, she's only been there for about 6 weeks, and I guess there's reports that there have been other shootings there. So it's possible that he was targeted and mistaken for someone else. But this is something that we feel landlords should be somewhat held accountable for. There's been disturbances before on the next block with young people, and she just believes that whoever did this, someone in the neighborhood knows, and she's hoping that somebody will come forward and help with the investigation. She's hoping that what comes from this, that neighbors will stop being afraid, neighbors will stop ignoring gunshots, they'll stop looking away, because it can be anybody's child.
They took my son. Somebody in the neighborhood decided the day was the day I was going to lose my child. I feel for all the parents in Omaha that have had to go through this. There shouldn't be a parent in this town to have to come home while their son is waiting for them to pick them up, to take them to go out to eat or anything. This violence around here is sickening. And I didn't want to have another day in this city until I tell someone how I'm feeling today. And today, I know that I have one less son in the world. So whoever did this to me and my family needs to stop and take a minute, because there is nothing that's going to make it better for you. The police are out here and they are doing their job and they're going to find you.
There's also some other leads that we're hoping to help with the investigation. There's a possibility that he bumped into a guy going into one of the gas stations, and I believe the gas station was BJ's on 42nd and Ames, and hopefully the detectives will look at surveillance tape to get a suspect or just anything that will try to help bring closure to this family. And Ms. Wallace expressed that she doesn't want this to be just another situation where a young man dies. She wants to step out and help in the community. She's told me if we have to go door to door and knock on doors to get people to talk, that's what she's willing to do. And I told her that that's what we're willing to do. And again, we're going to make every effort we can to help raise money, to help with the burial expenses, to help the police with their investigation. And we just want people to come forward. You know, it doesn't have to happen like this. You know, Omaha is way too small. North Omaha is too small.
My son, Brandon Wallace, graduated from North High School in 2009. That same summer, he went to the Junior Olympics, and he jumped in the top 10 for his state. He has over 42 medals at home. My son was going to school on a scholarship and was hurt. He was in school and he came home a little shook up. And since then, he was just trying to find his way like all the young men in this city. Trying to find, work and, get himself together. And he was wanting to go back into the schools and work with the kids and coach. They help out with track. Someone killed my son for nothing.
And again, if it was a case of mistaken identity, there's just too much violence in the city. And I believe Councilman Gray spoke on this issue before about holding landlords accountable for renting property to people that just, harbor violence. And I would like to speak with Councilman Gray to see where we can go, in what direction can we go to help Ms. Wallace, or if a home has been the scene of a shooting or a crime, at least let those people have a chance to know that. Don't let something like this happen. I met this young man, he's 14 years old, and his brother's gone. He was talking to me outside, and it hurts. It hurts to sit here and listen to Ms. Wallace speak.
I've been a part and seen many news conferences, and I'm not one to really, look towards sympathy. I've been one to seek retribution, but I've changed my life. My name's Robert Wallace. This is my little cousin. And as she said, this kid wasn't bothering anybody, but I'm sure you guys have heard that before. This is what I want to call it. The summer's about to begin. Your family members are out there with these same barbaric people.
Every day.
So if you're going to be accounted for, because yours could be next, and then you're going to want answers. You're going to be up here and you're going to want questions. So think about that when you see this. The summer's just beginning. Let's not have another summer like this in this city, this wonderful city. Let's stand up to this barbarians. And I'm one that can say that because I was barbaric.
And as a member of Project K.N.O.S.E, this is one thing that we have been trying to stop, not just due to the situation at hand, but we've been trying to stop violence, period. We do patrols, we hand out flyers, we go door to door, and it's something that we need help with.
It's genocide, bro. It's genocide.
This picture right here, that's that face of my son that I know knew every day. This is the baby. This is my child. And this smile is the same smile that he had the day he died. And that picture on the news, that's not my son. This is the face that I want people to remember right here.
And
Right here.
I want people to remember that this ain't the only Wallace that done lost their life violently.
This is number 5.
So we've been dealing with this.
All gun fatalities in this family.
So all I'm
All
saying,
homicide in this family.
again, all I'm saying is, to everybody, yours could be next.
We need to come together and help each other now. I don't want to lose another soul in these streets. Not one. There's parents out here. Watch your kids. Make sure you know who they're hanging with. Make sure you know your neighborhood. I just came from a private neighborhood, Lord. God only knows. I don't know what I put myself and my kids into.
Know your neighborhoods. Know who you live next door to. Know who's up and down your street and has no reason to be. Know what cars is in your neighborhood that are not supposed to be. Because as a mother, nobody wants to go through this. As a father, parent, cousin, sibling, nobody wants to go through this. And we want to stop this before it happens again.
I'm the pastor of Freestone Baptist Church, Pastor Brandon, pastor of this Wallace family. And one of the things that really strikes me is we don't want this to become the new normal in this city of violence, of young people dying before they even mature to adulthood. Brandon was a good young man, and that is the message we wanted. He was not in gangs. He was not one kid who would go out and commit crimes. He was a good, quiet young man, very respectable. He was attending church. I last talked to him on Sunday. And he came up to me on the Sunday to tell me he wanted to get back involved, recommit himself as much as he can in the church. And that's the type of person he was, a beautiful smile. So we're always concerned when we see a mugshot of a young man that is good, because those of us who knew Brandon love Brandon, and we want people to understand the type of young man that he was, the type of family this Wallace family is. And so we're very concerned at the church and our churches, not only in this community, but all throughout the city, because we're concerned we don't want this to become the new normal, that people get used to killing and dying of our young men.
My
It's
son
senseless.
died with just the most senseless of causes. He was on his own porch in his own yard, minding his own business in the middle of the day. And no one should have to ever have that violation on their own home where they feel safe and comfortable.
And as a city, we've seen a mother get killed in her home. We've seen a child get killed on a doorstep. And we've seen a child sleeping in the bed. A bullet whizzed through. I'm sick and tired of people saying that things are getting better.
If I even think I see a gun on any little young person in this city, I'm calling the police.
I would like to make a general point also, to try to get ahead of this summer, because we know what this city is capable of. And, I would like to say that we need a village. And when I say we need a village, we need your help too. We need cops to be, so they're not just immune, or this is not just a jiffy lube pulling up for another oil change, because it's happening so rapidly that you can become immune to these. So we need care at the scenes. We need a community to get this back to the Omaha, Nebraska that I know about. We need everybody to care, and I know it starts with the community, because if you see that we're not taking care of our own, if we don't care and we're not willing to speak up, who else gonna speak up?
Yeah.
So we need to get it right, man, or it's gonna be yours. Like I said, I don't want to be sitting here prophesizing nothing, but we know what this city what can happen over this summer. So if you see something, you can find a way, and I don't care what nobody got to say.
Ms. Wallace, can you say in your own words that how you would like people that know something to come out and say something?
I'd like to ask anyone in the neighborhood and the community around, if you knew my son, you would understand that Brandon was not violent. He was a good young man and very respectful, and he helped everybody. And I need for someone to please come forward. I believe we have a reward for someone if we have information. Please contact the Omaha Police Department, because not only did we lose another child in the city, we lost somebody that someone loves. And yet again, we have another family in his mind now today, sitting before me and trying to figure it out. And I'm so sorry, but I have to say this. I'm sick and tired. I was in the newspaper in 1991. We have this thing about gangs and violence. At that time, I was in college, and my uncle was murdered on off of Bedford Street. Young man came up, shot him dead while he was sitting in a car a few blocks away. A few years after that, I had another fatality in my family. My cousin lost his son. We didn't see that coming. Gun violence. A few years after that, while I was working through OPS, and I'm still an employee of Omaha Public Schools, another fatality in my family. In 2008, another relative dead from gun violence. But I never, ever would have thought it happened to me. So please, if you know anything, call the Omaha Police Department. Please help me find this to my son.
And one thing that we want to do tonight going forward, I mean, we can meet, we can say whatever we want, but if we don't really take action, we'll be doing this again. And I've reached out to every family I possibly could for help. I'm sick and tired of going through this. So one thing that we're going to do when we leave here, we're going to go to the streets. We're going to march for Brandon Wallace. We're going to march for Ariana Carr, the ones that did not make it. And we're hoping by us doing it, that neighbors that normally close their door, close their windows, look the other way, they can see that there's people out here that care. Impact One is here, Project K.N.O.S.E is here, people that care. You know, this is a mother who's never going to see her son, who has to make funeral arrangements to bury him. That's not something we should be dealing with based off a violent act. But we've allowed these shooters to do this because we go by a no snitching code. It's Nike or Jordan. Will the gang unit tell you guys what that means? I'll tell you guys what that means. Nike is Negro, I'll kill everybody. And there's kids that devote their life to that. Jordan means jump out or run down, all Nikes. So you have the Crips and you have the Bloods using this. And they're living and dying by it. Young people.
Genocide.
And all it takes is for your kid to have on a Nike hoodie, a Jordan hoodie, something that we probably all have. My kids have it. And for somebody to drive by and say, okay, there's a target. And they know they can shoot because nobody's going to say anything. No snitching. You don't have to call the police. Call me, 402-812-6540. I'm tired of it because, yes, there's some people that just need to be locked up. They're not going to help. They're not going to do anything right. They deserve to be in a cage. And I'm hoping that Chief Schmatter watches this because he said over and over that he wants a department that interacts with the community. And I believe he does. I believe he's going to find the killer. I believe he's going to do everything possible. But at the same time, we have to hold our people, our community responsible. They have a job to do, even more so than the police department. The police department get paid to police. We live here. Our kids live here.
That's right.
And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Miss Wallace gets justice. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure her son is buried. And I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure we don't go through this again.
And I'm gonna get in touch with some, veteran cops from the city that I know that care. You know, Daniel Clark's one of them. He's a rough cop, but he did care. And I'm gonna get in touch with some cops and look for tactics that we can help. So, I lost my son. I sat on the sidelines. I'm not sitting on the sidelines no more. I got something to offer.
I just want to say that some of the things that have happened over the many years that have affected our families and the community are systemic. Because of the conditions in Omaha, no one is insulated. No one is without the reason for this happening. None of our hands are clean. None of our hands are clean. Because of the conditions of poverty, unemployment in this town, disenfranchisement, racism still exists. People see this happening all the time. It's just too frequent. Until we get to the root of the issues that breed that type of ignorance and stupidity in our community, we're going to continue to have this type of violence and this type of mayhem. So it behooves the entire city, not just North Omaha, but the entirety of this city, the empowerment network, the city council, the legislature, all vestiges, all the people that are wealthy in this town, that want to do something constructive. We need community open. We need some of these young men that come to places when they need to talk. Some place that they can open up and express themselves when they're frustrated, when they can't find a job, or they're angry about something. Because some of them don't have any sense of themselves or their identity.
It's very important to know this as well. Brandon, would, never address another person and altercate with anyone. He just wasn't that kind of individual.
Who's
And I
everyone?
don't understand why I'm sitting here. Hearing my kid.
We all have to take responsibility and do something about this.
And that's the whole purpose that I believe, I spoke with Ms. Wallace earlier, and, she's one of the few mothers that said she's tired, that she wants to go to the streets. And I know she's grieving, she's gonna hurt, but she doesn't want any other mothers to feel what she's feeling right now. And this happened because of the things that we've allowed before. Nobody talking about, if you're not talking about a shooter, if you're not trying to put him away, guess what? He's still out there. And he's gonna shoot. So yes, it can be me. It can be any one of us.
Shoot senseless.
A birthday party for a 6-year-old was just shot up a few days ago. And somebody saw that. Somebody saw that vehicle leaving.
And somebody knows whose vehicle that is.
But nobody came forward. And again, this cycle, it just continues. So until we jump out there and grab the bull by the horns, it's going to keep going. And I'm jumping out here. And Ms. Wallace assured me that she's going to be right there with me. And he's not going to be, this isn't going to be a loss. Her son didn't die in vain.
Anybody welcome to join us. Anybody.
Anyway, we need all hands. We all live in this community. We all suffer. When one suffers, when one is hurt, we're all crying. We all feel the pain. We have a family back here hurting. Young men that need somebody to talk to. Where's our leaders?
But that's the Omaha I grew up in. When we did have a village. And we did look out for each other.
We grew
Yes,
up with
we
our
did.
doors open, planting gardens, feeding each other in our neighborhoods. We didn't grow up suspicious, mistrustful, and unhelpful. And I'm sick and tired of these selfish young people running around here taking and stealing each other's lives, as well as stealing souls from the people that love them. Stop killing each other. You don't even know how to live, and you're dying before you breathe it. Stop killing innocent people.
Following, Nike, Jordan, things that we all grew up, and they're living and dying by them. Call the gang unit, they'll tell you. And I hope you guys run that story. There's 4 stations. I hope somebody says that tonight. They're not going to denounce it. But again, I remember being in 8th grade at Monroe Junior High. They gave us a list of what to look for if you wear this, what a certain sign means. So the same thing should be done right now. And if they're not going to do it, that's the problem. We have to stop waiting for somebody to come into our community and save us. Then we're going to do it.
And I believe in Omaha Police Department. I do. This is my home. This is my hometown. So I believe in the Omaha Police Department. And I can tell you right now, I've never had an issue with my police. And they are doing their best to find who did this to my son. And I just want to thank them right now on the news. Thank you. We got a whole lot of people on Facebook that knew my son. He has a lot of relatives out there that still haven't found out that he's dead, he's deceased. And we're hoping that, if anybody knows anything, please share it. Again, call the Omaha Police Department and ask them for one of the detectives and tell them what you know. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to say anything. Just tell them what you know. Don't tell them who you are. Just tell them what you know. If it can help them find who killed my son, tell them, please.
And I know
Please.
that our relations in the North Omaha community and the Omaha Police Department haven't been the best. I understand that, we've had different situations where officers didn't treat us the best. But at the same time, you can't use that as a generalization and say that there's officers out there that's not willing to help us.
Because that would be fair.
What I think we have a situation is we have to understand and decide how we need to help ourselves in our community.
And we need to
then
help the
bring-
police help
And then
with
bring others along.
investigations. And we also need to make them more aware of what's going on so they can be safe as well.
We want to leave this press conference, and we want the people to know, again, we're going to do all that we can to make this community stand up, to make people that are afraid come forward. You don't have to be alone. If 5 are afraid, okay. But if 100 are with those 5, then we're going to make sure everybody has each other's back in this community, because we're the ones coming home to the yellow tape. And like they said, don't let it become the norm where we're just numb to it. And I believe in Todd Smarter. I believe he's going to do everything he can to catch the killer. And again, whatever we can do to make their job easier, I'm willing to do it. Thank you.
Like